Hello everybody, and thank you for joining me and my little friend, the Green Anole. He just had his little snack, so I was out on my patio and he was sunning himself, or she. I'm not quite sure. Maybe somebody can share in comments if this is a male or female. He was sunning on my little pot of succulents from my mother's house, and then I was not intending on catching him eating, but then he saw the fly. I didn't, and I was still filming, and voila, he ate his snack. Hope it didn't turn anybody's stomach, but that's nature, right? We never know what we're going to see. So to paint our little friend, I used Hooker's Green, which is a paint from Winsor Newton. It's a very bright green, and I also added a little bit of lemon yellow from Daniel Smith, and I wanted to make sure that his vivid bright green was maintained. I came in with a little bit more Hooker's Green mixed with a little bit of sap green to add to the shadows, which will add underneath his feet and his legs and his tail. And I also added a little bit of Naples yellow underneath his belly and his chest and his chin, just to give it a little bit of depth. I did notice when he turned his body that there was a little bit of, maybe it was dirt, maybe it was just the way he's colored, but it was a little bit different shade of yellow. So I added that. And then I'll just build in the darker shades as we let the paint dry and come back and add a little bit more shadowing and get more detailed in the corners of his body and where I see different bends in his structure. I'm going to add a picture of an anole here in a second, and you'll be able to see the one that I traced with my tablet. So if you want to trace that as well, you can find it on Upsplash and just type in green lizard or anole and it'll pop up. Growing up in the Southwest, we saw a lot of lizards on the walls, in the backyard, and I had a fondness for the smaller ones, and anoles were about the same size. I don't know if they were the same type of lizard, but they were brown, same structure. They would sit on the walls and do their little push-ups and eat flies and bugs and whatever else came across their path. I would capture them and keep them as pets for a few days, feed them flies, and then I would let them go after my parents insisted that they'd be happier out on their own. But I think my capturing of lizards days were over very quickly once one went up my shirt sleeve and wandered about inside my shirt. Yeah, that was the end of it. No longer did I desire to keep them as pets either. Here I am focused on completing the angle of the eye. I wanted to give the impression that this anole was looking behind him, and I'll show you why in a second. But to do that, I had to use my number 2 round brush, and it is a very small space in which I was working, so I was very careful not to go too fast and lose that white space that I needed to give the impression he was looking behind him. You'll see in the eye I left a couple spots of white space to imply the reflection of the sky, or maybe something flickering in his eye. The anole in the video that I took was sitting on the edge of a pot, but that seemed a little bit too challenging for what I wanted to do, and it was too busy with all the other plants around. I really wanted this painting to just focus on him and a little added touch at the end. So I kept it simple. I just made a little curve. This could be a branch, a leaf. You could put them on the ground or whatever works for you and your composition. Just keep it simple. I'm coming underneath his tail and his body with a little bit of indigo just to darken up the structure on which he's sitting to imply shadow. And then I'll add some cobalt blue for the sky and use a clean brush to gently bring that down. And blend everything in. I added a little bit more in the corners to frame our composition. I'm taking a paper towel to bring up a little bit of the cobalt because I wanted to come back in and paint his snack. That should do it. I hope you enjoyed this painting as much as I did, and I hope it encourages you to pick up a brush, look outside, find something amazing to paint. Until next time, may the Lord keep you and may His face shine upon you. Bye-bye.